The tango is a dance synonymous with Argentina and Uruguay, is tearing up dance floors around the Turkish city of Istanbul. The Latin moves were introduced in the 1920s and they're becoming even more popular today. A group of international tango goers are enjoying a day of tango and milonga dancing on a boat. The atmosphere is reminiscent of Buenos Aires, but this background view is actually Istanbul. Almost every month, tango followers from around the world gather in the city to enjoy several days of dancing. They come from America, Europe, Middle East, and even Latin America. Mulai Moro, an amateur tango dancer, is dancing with his partner on the boat's deck, with Istanbul's skyline over the Bosporus behind them.
The quality of tango in Istanbul is outstanding. I love it here. You go to some places and you're not so sure about the quality when you ask someone, but here you feel very confident in asking anyone because everyone is very good and you can tell that they have a passion and interest in it.
Most of the dancers on board agree with Moro. They are all impressed by the passion showed by Turkish people towards tango. Argentinian Dr. Betty Grumfield, in her 50s, says, in Turkey you won't find a milonguero from Buenos Aires, people who are born into a tango environment, but the technique here is fantastic. In Buenos Aires, people learn tango from their parents and grandparents, but here in Europe, people go to tango lessons. Since the mid-1990s, tango dancing has blossomed in Istanbul. Nowadays, dozens of schools are teaching this Argentinian dance that, according to local tango followers, has a lot in common with Turkish culture. One of these schools is Tangolik in İstiklal Avenue. Almost every day, students gather here to improve their tango and milonga skills. Saran Yigit, a former computer software designer, discovered this dance 3 years ago and now is one of the teachers at Tangolik School. He says that in the beginning he had some concerns about the dance, but eventually he became so passionate about it that he won the first award as a dancer in the Turkish Tango Championship together with his partner. Turkish actor Aron Bunyel is one of the many students at Tangolik School, began dancing tango 1.5 years ago. 3 years ago, an Argentinian friend told him about tango and made him listen to some tango music. Aron felt interested. After that, he and his friend went to a tango dancing show, watched it and felt fascinated and liked it a lot. The owner of the school, Ligin Tetikan, discovered tango 10 years ago and it became her passion. She says that tango is so popular in Turkey because the local culture has a lot in common with the Argentinian one. İlkan Tetikan says the Turkish people feel a strong passion for the people they love and their lovers. She believes the passion can be noticed when they are dancing tango. But the Turkish and Argentinian tango are not quite the same. For instance, the bandoneon was replaced in Turkey by the accordion because by the time tango arrived in the Eurasian nation in the 1910s and 20s, nobody knew how to play a concertina. Gypsy people brought the accordion to the Bosporus, so there were many musicians familiar with this instrument at the time in Istanbul. These are some of the differences explained by writer and researcher Gökhan Akkura in his book about the local tango history. He says that it was Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of the Turkish Republic, who introduced tango in his project as a way to westernize Turkey and improve women's rights. Tango arrived to Istanbul around 1917. 2 decades later, Necdet Koyurtürk became one of the most important tango composers and musicians in Turkey and the Middle East. His most famous song, Papatya or Daisy, was the first Turkish vinyl recorded to be printed in the UK. Necdet's son, Özdemir Koyurtürk, is today one of the most famous tango musicians in Turkey. Koyurtürk says he is lucky that his father was such a popular tango composer. The musician, who often travels to Argentina, says that his nation's style of tango has more influence from jazz and some differences in the lyrics compared to the Argentinian one. He says in Turkish tango there is mostly love, romance. Of course, Argentinian tango has these topics as well, but Turkish tango is more naive. Argentinian tango talks about everything. The Turkish tango music tradition has been declining because it's a difficult way to make a living, but that dance remains a passion for many in Istanbul. Hundreds of Japanese people are spending the night in igloos to sample some of the coldest temperatures in the country. Every year, tourists come to Rikubetsu, eastern Hokkaido, to experience the icy event. The mercury sometimes falls below minus 30 degrees Celsius. This year, about 600 people applied for the festival and half won the lottery to take part. A group of volunteers built the 2-meter-tall igloos. Inside, the temperature is about 3 degrees Celsius warmer. One visitor says she feels apprehensive about spending the night in the freezing surroundings, but she will do her best to see through. The head of the event said that although the temperature is cold, the local people are warm-hearted. 4 couples from Japan and Taiwan have held an open-air wedding ceremony in the snow-covered Japanese Central Alps recently. The event took place at an altitude of 2,612 meters in Komagane City, Nagano Prefecture. The annual event is held at the coldest period of the year to promote the appeal of the mountains in the winter season. 2 Japanese couples selected from among applicants and 2 others invited from Taiwan by local authorities took part in the event. They exchanged their wedding vows and rings in front of a chapel made of snow. The weather was clear, but the temperature dropped to minus 8 degrees Celsius at around 10 a.m. for the ceremony. A bridegroom from Sagamihara City near Tokyo said he was moved by the chance to have his wedding in such a stunning landscape. Iran unveiled its new homemade satellite Tadbir in an official ceremony in Tehran on Monday. Tadbir was unveiled in a ceremony attended by Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, Vice President for Executive Affairs Mohammad Sharia Matadari, and the country's space officials. Last month, former Chancellor of Science and Industry University Mohammad Saeed Jabal Amili told the media that Navid 2 satellite, which was renamed as Tabir by the 11th government of President Rouhani's, would be sent into the space in the near future. He said the satellite had been built by the Iranian researchers at Science and Industry University and delivered to Iran's space agency in November. Jabil Amili said at present the satellite is passing the final tests in ISA and is being transferred to the launch pad. In December, a senior ISA official said that Tehran will orbit 2 new homemade satellites by the end of the Iranian calendar year. That's March 20th, 2014. Tests are being conducted on the 2 satellites of Sharif and Tadbir before the launching process. Lantern shows kicked off in various areas of China recently to greet Spring Festival. In southwest China's Sichuan province around the Zhuanhe Lake in Diyang City, the annual Lantern Fair was opened on January 25th with thousands of decorative lights on display. Multicolored lanterns of all sizes and shapes depicted various objects and scenes, including mountain villas and animals, which lit up the night of the city. Cartoon and animal-themed lanterns drew attention from the children at the event, while the other visitors were busy taking pictures. The centerpiece of this year's show is a 20-meter-tall lantern assemblage featuring a pair of peacocks at the top and peonies at the bottom. The peacocks were made of 450,000 little glass bottles, and the assemblage took 45 days to finish. In East China's Jiangsu province, a lantern fair also opened recently in the country of Funing, delighting numerous visitors. Special lanterns featuring opera masks, Chinese classical novels, as well as other innovative designs gave the street a joyful, festive mood. Visitors were also treated with live performances of the indigenous Huai opera, along with the spectacular lantern show. The lantern show will be open every day until February 14. This is a first-class shopping mall in Indonesia, and here is a Korean restaurant in the mall. The restaurant offers Korea's signature bibimbap, while the barbecued meat is pre-cooked and served on a heated stone plate to minimize the smoky odor sticking to your clothes. Prices aren't cheap, about $20 for a meal, but the 8-month-old restaurant is packed. Yoon Bang-won, manager of Bibigo, says 70% of their customers are Indonesian. Unlike other restaurants, they are becoming a popular local diner. This barbecued meat restaurant already has 10 franchise outlets in Southeast Asia. Its secret to success lies in the thorough training of its local employees. Restaurant managers are trained in Korea for 3 months and are involved in developing dishes that appeal to local palates. Hiru, manager, Bulgogi Brothers Jakarta branch, says he has added japchae to the menu because he thinks Indonesians will like it. This bakery was the first one to introduce the concept of a cafe/bakery to Indonesia. Thanks to its wide selection of healthy baked goods, the place has flourished and has opened 13 branches in 2 years. The bakery also plans to open a training center for the locals free of charge by the end of this month. These Korean eateries are at the forefront of spreading Korean cuisine all across Indonesia. This is augmented reality 3D graphics in action. The technology is able to recognize a toy by using an app from iTunes. The toy's 2D image is captured on screen and turned into a 3D cartoon graphic on your tablet. So far, this technology has been trialed by turning toy figures into 3D cartoon graphics as part of a storybook format. This value-added tech toys combines traditional design with virtual technology to transport children from their real world to a virtual world. The CEO of Apps at 1010, Wilson Chiu, says all too often modern technology cuts off children from their parents. Because of this, Chiu says interactive games allow interactivity between the generations. Being a toy fair here isn't about short supply of furry animals. These look like most normal cuddly toys, but beneath that cute exterior is built-in voice technology which enables the toys to connect with an iPad. In order to listen to your toy talking, you need to download an app. You can also play various games, and the better you do, the more you'll be cheered by your toy. The voice technology is synchronized with the wave sounds generated from the game app. This giant pink bunny contains a digital face which interacts with the user. The founder of Roam and Amp Wonder, Jason Warren, says this iPad-powered bunny is designed to inspire kids' creativity by bringing digital apps and physical toys together.
So this is Tutu, and in order to do a good job taking care of her, you need to give her love, and you can give her love using this magic ring. So if you use the magic ring, then you can make her happy. So you have to force her.
Yeah.
Okay, hey you. Brush your teeth, there you go.
Instead of owning a real pet, you can now keep a virtual pet rabbit at home with mini toys to keep the rabbit happy, and you get to learn vocabulary too. Warren says mainland China, with its easing of the one-child policy, is a market set to boom.
There's a lot of kids who are in homes in China whose parents already have iPhones or Android devices, iPads, tablets, things like that. And a lot of those kids are totally digital. These kids love to play games. They're using apps all the time. And so by sort of loosening up that policy, I think that one, it'll grow the number of kids that are there. And we're targeting very young children between 2, 4, and 6 years old. So the impact to our business in the short term from loosening that policy could be really positive.
But it's not all smart technology. There are also traditional toys such as model cars, dollhouses and wooden toys which remain classics. The fair attracted nearly 2,000 exhibitors from 39 countries and regions, with participants from Belarus, the Philippines and Portugal attending for the first time this year.